Okay. Do you know that my phone's been almost dying for the past, like... Dude, why? Why won't it adjust? It's been on battery power below 15 or 20 or whatever for literally days now. I keep charging it just enough that it survives the amounts I need. Except yesterday when it died, where we were having that date, the dance date night. Anywho, so, reading time. Let's go. So there's a lot of impatient energy right now. There's a lot of impatience. Everybody's like, what the hell is going on? Everybody's thinking that there's supposed to be radical changes and radical shifts right now. And they're confused because there's nothing happening. Well, I'm here to tell you that the things that are changing are all internal. And your external changes will only happen over time. 3 months, everyone says, at least all my mentors and stuff and the gurus and the guides, they all say 3 to 6 months is your manifestation period. I have a feeling you can manifest a lot faster than that now with the 2024 and over energies. I think you can just do whatever you want, honestly. If you wanted a job today, you could figure out how to do it. Zula, you're in the way. The only way you got to do that, though, is to sit. Believe it or not, you got to sit down and do nothing because you're frantic. Your mind can't focus right now. And the only way that you're going to get out of that frantic mindset, which is then the only way that you'll actually get the guidance that you need, is if you go and you sit and you eradicate that frantic mindset for yourself. So that's okay, Zeus, you can go. Dude's just enjoying the doggos. So that's the first thing, the impatient energy, but there's more there. I just need to get to where I'm going and just sit because my psychic stuff is that I feel what you feel. So I'm feeling very impatient. I'm also feeling a little bit astounded and overwhelmed. So I really just need to fucking sit down. Right. So you're wondering why you seem to see people making changes, and you're wondering how they're doing it. Well, these people that you are wondering this about, their changes are all internal. Their life might not be changing the way you think it is or the way you seem to be perceiving it to be. However, what is changing for them is their internal state. So inside, they're just getting more comfortable. They're just becoming more at peace with themselves. And that's kind of transitioning their life for them. Now, they do have to take steps, and you will have to take steps as well. For example, one of my steps was quitting my job. And when I did that, I could not be sure. I was so on the fence of if it's the right choice or not, or whatever. And I have one thing to tell you, and that is stop thinking so much, okay? Not in terms of thinking rationally, but in terms of overthinking, okay? Your mind is there for you to think rationally. You're not supposed to be overthinking this stuff. Okay, give me a second. There's people walking by and they also have a lot of energy around them today, so I'm just going to consume and help with the energy process. My dogs as well. Azula is very full of energy right now. God. I also found a star. But anyway. Okay. So I think that was the biggest thing, is definitely that impatience. I just gotta find a dustbin quickly, because people are tossers is why. Okay, that's the other thing. Then the next energy that's playing up specifically very much is forgiveness energy. And you guys might be wondering, why? Why are people just so fucking stupid? That's the thought that's going through your mind, and I need you to eradicate that thought. I also need to eradicate that thought. Because unfortunately, the fact is that majority of the population on Earth, it's not becoming this way, it is changing. But right now, the majority of the population is uneducated. They are not aware of the severe damage of litter. They're not aware of the severe damage of selfishness. A lot of people think, how do you become successful without shaking hands with the devil? You know, a lot of you might be thinking, okay, so I'm a human being, and all the human beings I've seen be successful, literally you just got to look at every single leader of our generation. every human being that I've seen be successful has been in for themselves. They've been selfish, they've been a prick, they've taken everything for themselves, they've been corrupt, they're being dishonorable, they've been all these god-awful things, and that's why they've gotten where they are. Well, luckily for you, that's not something you need to worry about. Because as long as you are doing the right things and you're doing things collective for a collective purpose, 2024's energy is eradicating those people. And I've seen this face to face. I've had to deal with people who, I mean, I don't want to go into personal logistics because I don't think that's necessary. But what I can say, oh, this doggy is so cute. It's just walking like a little like a... what I can say is that you just need to trust that God or the universe or the higher entity that there is eliminating opportunity. It's literally doing that. It's eliminating the opportunities that these god-awful people have had by replacing that energy with an energy that will only work if it is a positive and a heart-filled energy. So everyone's always been on a mind-filled energy. That's been the main issue for millennia, is that we've all been, for the Westerners at least, is that we've all been about the mind. The mind, the mind, the mind. The mind is the only important thing. You know, I mean, I literally have people who boast about their IQ, and then all the other parts of them are devastating, but their IQ is what matters, so therefore they're a good person. And it doesn't work that way anymore. The mind is not what we are, and it is not in control. It never has been. The only thing is that the existence, the realm, the energies that we've been in have worked that way up until now. What that means is that they've allowed us to use the mind to progress our society, because we were a race or a species that wasn't going to evolve without our mind. So we had to use the mind. But as we did that and we got more and more advancements using the mind, we also got more corrupt within our minds. So what the energies are doing now is literally eradicating that. It's literally stopping it. Your mind doesn't matter anymore. Not like you think it does. Your heart matters. So I literally heard this phrase yesterday. It's bottom of heart, top of mind, or something like that. And when I talked to the person about this, she was saying that she had one thing for the top of mind and the other thing for the bottom of the heart. And the big thing that you need to know about that is, yeah, cool, you can have a couple things, maybe 3 if you want, but they should actually be both mind and heart. It shouldn't be a one is the mind thing, a one is the heart thing. It should be, my heart says do this, therefore I'm going to use my mind to figure out how to do it. That's the process we want. We've always been, we've never been heart focused. We've always been, you know, I want this. And that was always an ego want. It was always, I want more money, or I want a better title, or I want this nice fancy car. And therefore you would then think that you want it, but actually that's your mind wanting it. Well, actually it's technically not, it's actually your ego, which is a separate entity kind of altogether of who you are as a vessel. But the mind is there now for you to use it as your physics computer. So your heart is your guiding force, not your mind and not your ego. Your heart is your guiding force now, and you'll know what it is. You know, you want a big fancy car? No, let me go and sit down and meditate. Why do I want a big fancy car? What is it? Maybe I want validation. Maybe I want people to look at me a certain way. Maybe I want to be seen as a boss. Things like this. And then as you uncover that, that's where, so you know, back just now, we were talking about those people that you're seeing, that you're thinking, how are they changing their life? That's how. They're playing with those questions. They're not looking at a goal and seeing it as the end result. They're looking at a whole lifestyle that they want for themselves. And they're trying to figure out how they can get that. And the biggest thing that they are wanting is peace. Peace of mind, peace of peace of mind. They want tranquility. They want peace of existence. They want to be at peace within themselves. And they are, and they are becoming. Those who are not fully yet, they are becoming at peace within themselves. And that is the trick. If you can start putting aside all those thoughts, all those cravings of what other people think of you, what other people want from you, what you think you should be to other people, then you're going to start uncovering the real secrets of your life. Because your life right now, in this day and age, there's not a single person alive who isn't alive for a reason. And unfortunately, there are a vast majority of the population who are alive to teach us what not to do and be anymore. That's just the way it is. Why? Well, partly because we need to be hurt so that we can see what we don't want to do to other people. But also beyond that, it's there to help us eradicate those energies entirely. So that's kind of what it is. Is there anything else going on? Any other reading? Is there any other energy going on? Persistence. People are wondering, how can you be so persistent when you're not seeing results? How are you so persistent when you're just not seeing results? You're trying to grow that YouTube channel and you've been trying YouTube for years and years and it's never worked. You're trying to achieve that financial goal and you've been trying for years and years and it's never worked. But look at this now. You're getting there. You're going there. You're moving forward towards that. And if you're not, then it's time to evaluate why you're doing that in the first place. Is it really a heart desire, or is it a desire that was placed onto you in childhood, or maybe at your last job? Maybe someone made a remark, someone you really looked up to, and they said something like, this is a very important thing, and now you've taken that to heart and you're like, yes, that is. You know, the whole point of this, I think the final conclusion of this reading right now is that all you need to do to start really shifting your energies and shifting your mindset and priorities, and therefore your actions that you take as well, is to literally just, the simple step is to identify what is yours and what isn't yours. I don't mean stuff. Stuff isn't any of ours. That's why it's so easy to acquire stuff when you really want it, but it's also why it can be so hard when you don't realize that. But stuff isn't important. What is important is your own thoughts. Are they your own thoughts? Do they belong to an ex-boss who you admired very well? Therefore, it's not your own thoughts. Was it planted in you from a young age that you should grow up to be a doctor, a vet, a surgeon, an engineer? If that's the case, those aren't your own thoughts. You discover your own passion. And if you don't know what your own passion is, that just means you've lived so much in everybody else's eyes and everybody else's light that you can't understand yourself yet. So the first goal is to take time to understand yourself. And guys, that can take years. If you need years, all you've got to do right now is just ground yourself and stabilize yourself and then work out what it is that you really want. How? You can go on YouTube and figure that out, but you can meditate, you can journal, you can contemplate, you can do videos like this, you can talk in the mirror, you can do self-talk, you can talk to your animals, you can go to a therapist. There are so many things you can do nowadays. You can play games. Believe it or not, I've had a lot of my revelations while playing my freaking video games. Or driving, you know, find something that allows you to, if you need to be active, find something that allows you to be active while you can meditate and think as well. But obviously you need to be safe, okay? So that's kind of that. So just to finalize, like I said, the final conclusion of this, there's a lot more coming in and I'd really love to dive into all of it. I think it's super awesome, it's so fascinating. But the main thing I want to get across and just end this with is that, are you living your life for yourself, or are you living a life that society has told you need to live? If you're constantly worried about money, that's because you're playing a game with the devil right now. Okay, the whole preacher thing that says something like, when you worry, you're praising the devil or something like that. That's literally, okay, worry shouldn't exist. What worry is all it is just a guiding force. But our minds, because we've become mind-centered, we can't figure that out. But I need to wrap up. I keep getting more coming in, and it would be very useful for you guys, but we can't have like 100 revelations in one video. It's a bit too much, and you guys will be out of it for the next few days. So for this video, just to wrap up, I just need to emphasize once again, look at your thoughts, look at your wants and your desires. And simply and plainly identify if they really are your thoughts, or if it's a thought or a desire or even a craving that has come from somebody else. Okay, I keep getting more examples of where it could have come from. You had a crush in prep school and she said something was important, and now you've taken it to heart and now you think you need to be that to impress girls. Okay, that's going to unlock a lot more, because then there's a lot more girl energy, which we talked about, fear of girls earlier. The whole feminine energy thing is something we need to talk about at another time, because it's a big deal right now. The masculine and feminine are intertwining to make things happen appropriately and safely, rather than all the radical crazy nonsense that's been going on. And we're not going to talk about that now. So if you do want to hear more about that, like, we can make a video on that, because that's something that needs to happen. But just finish like this. I'm going to give you some step-by-steps. Step 1, go to nature, go to a garden, go to a park. Preferably away from people. A lot of you are going to be energetic empaths as well. So you're going to be picking up on other people's energy, just like I did just now, where I had to actually just stop and just get away from it. You might be doing that as well. So what you need to do is actually seclude yourself. You need to go somewhere where there's no people, even animals, okay? Animals can heal you a lot, but they also have a lot of energy about them. And you need to figure out what your own energy is. You need to be comfortable in your own energy. 5 minutes a day in nature, sitting with your thoughts. That's what you need to do. It's that simple. That will start to unlock for you as you have your thoughts, and as you do it, you might get, in the first week or maybe 2 weeks, you might be a little bit irritated, and you might be thinking like, well, this is just not working. My mind just doesn't want to think, or maybe I just would rather be doing something, or whatever it is. But just be diligent and consistent. Remember that it's for yourself, okay? This tool that I've handed to you is a tool that I personally use. I've used it for years, and ever since I've started using it, well, maybe a year, and ever since I started using it, my life has started shifting. It's that powerful because it does a lot more than just what I'm telling you. But what it will do for this particular thing, it will allow you to start sifting through your thoughts, almost like you can start to create a funnel for yourself using nature's energy. Nature's energy is very grounding and stable. There's no worry, there's no anxiety, there's only peace and love, of course, and groundedness. So what it's going to do is it's going to create a literal funnel energetically for you so that your thoughts can start to funnel through and be more clear. So the first thing is that your mind's going to start to settle. The second thing is that you're going to learn more patience. The third thing is that the patience is going to seep into yourself. So I'm getting that a lot of you are impatient with yourself. You're wondering why you're not as good as you thought you were, or as famous, or as rich, or successful, whatever success means to you. And that's why you need to go and sit with your thoughts, because you need to realize, well, why do I want that stuff? Is it my own personal goals? And if so, are they coming from a place of the heart, or are they coming from a place of the mind or the ego? That's all you need to figure out for yourself. You'll figure it out. I can't give you more than I can give you tools. I can give you some explanations and I can give you some advice. But remember that everybody is so unique that, I had mentors who literally gave me step-by-steps, and I still couldn't follow that because it still didn't work. I was that one guy with this one particular mentor. She had thousands of clients, and every single one of them, she would have a vision of the future, and it would be exact. Even to dates and times, 2-3 weeks, and it would happen. And she would say it's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I was the only one, to my knowledge at least, from all the client testimonials I saw, I was the only one who never had that. She couldn't predict for me. She would try, and she would always say, you'll have this and you'll have this. But no, it always went wonky. It always went sideways. Something always got in the freaking way. And that was because I needed to start realizing that the main thing about healing is that it is a personal journey. So you can have the tools and you can use the tools just like anybody else, but the tools are going to do things for you a little bit differently. Not necessarily that the benefits of the tools are different. They're the same. Everyone will benefit the same. But those benefits are going to do things differently for you personally. So, for example, if your impatience is at the outer world, sitting in nature is going to calm you down with that. And it's going to help you figure out why. If your impatience is with yourself, it's going to, I already delivered some of it to you, which is maybe you're thinking that you feel inferior or like you could be more or something like that. And then once you figured that out, you can then start thinking about it. Now, the reason it's important to be in nature is because as you go through these thoughts, especially because you've been so mind focused for however long, as you go through these thoughts, the mind is going to struggle to understand because it doesn't want to feel, but you want to feel. Part of you is feeling. In fact, most of you is actually feeling. That's what energy is. It's your feelings. And your mind says, no, let's just be rational and logical and just make things happen. But your feelings are saying, whoa, dude, I feel sad. I feel this. And we always think, well, firstly, we think we shouldn't pay attention to it. We should ignore it so it'll go away. Or we seem to think that we need to analyze it. Now, analysis is good, but it needs to be done appropriately. You should not be over-analyzing your feelings. If you're feeling sad because of a fresh wound, and meanwhile you're sitting thinking, you're not used to this, you're not used to your feelings, and now you sit and think, well, Josh said that I should feel, so I feel sad. And then you just open your wound deeper. That's not a bad thing, but it's going to be very, very tumultuous. It's going to be a little bit over the top for you. Not for all of you, but for some of you. That's why nature is the most important thing, okay? You'll notice that whenever I do one of these videos, I tend to be in nature myself because there's a lot of upper energy that comes and hits, and the nature kind of just is that grounding. It's just like, yes. It's kind of like murky water, and then the nature helps me filter it, like I said, into more clear water, and then I can start talking about it. And that's kind of what's happening, and that's what's going to happen for you as well. Okay, I've made this video much longer than actually what I wanted to make it, but I know that it was all beneficial for you, so thanks for watching. I love you, and I will see you in the next video.